Hello, dear students. Greetings of the day. I, Mohammad Zishan, welcome you to the online classes of Bloomingdale's God School Sambal. Today, we are going to study the third chapter of history, which is the first phase of Indian national movement. First phase of Indian national movement. So, before beginning this chapter, let us understand what is the meaning of Indian national movement and what is the meaning of phase. So we know that we were not free before 1947. We got our independence from Britishers in 1947, and we were under the rule of Britain. So, in order to get our freedom from the British East India Company first, and then afterwards uh, Britain, we strived hard, we struggled, we fought for our independence, and that struggle is called the struggle which we had to get our independence. That struggle is called national movement. So that national movement started uh, from the very beginning of the rule of Britishers. British established their rule since the Battle of Plassey in 1757, and then in by Battle of Buxar, right? And afterwards, gradually they captured entire India. So since then only the Indian rulers, people, they fought back. They fought back against the Britishers to maintain their freedom, to maintain their sovereignty. So this is called the national movement. So this national movement can be, after that we also studied that in 1857 was a revolt of first war of independence. Okay, so now the national movement which was significant, that national movement, that period can be divided into three phases, or you can say three stages, three periods. So the first phase starts from the foundation of Indian National Congress in 1885, and it lasted till 1907 when the Surat split took place, in which the Congress got divided into the two factions, or two, you can say, parties. Okay, one group was led by the moderate leaders, and another was led by the radicals, or aggressive, or extremist, or assertive nationalist. Okay, so then 1907 to 1916, this period is called the period of assertive nationalist or extremist nationalist. And then after that, since 1916 to 1947, we can say this was the period when Gandhiji played very crucial role, dominant and significant role in in Indian politics, and that that period in which Gandhiji and his team struggled, that is called Gandhian phase. Okay, so broadly we can divide our the phases of Indian national movements into three parts. First, I have already told you the early nationalist part. Then second is the assertive phase, and the third is the Gandhian era. Right. So early nationalist phase, it was the phase of moderate Indian leaders. Here, the nature of the demands of leaders was moderate. That is why they are also called moderates. Why? Because their demands were moderate in nature, right? And whereas the assertive nationalists, their demands were radicals, okay, and their demands were assertive, extreme. So they are also called extremist. They are also called assertive nationalist. They are also called radicals, okay, and they dominated the time period from 1907 to 1916, and then afterwards 1916 to 1947 Gandhian era is here. In some of the books you will find the a little change in this time period. The early nationalist phase is given from 1885 to 1905, when the division of Bengal took place. Okay, so some historians take that also, right? Because the early nationalists were dominant in the politics of Congress from 1885 to 1905 till the division of Bengal, right? When the anti-partition movement was launched in 1905, then these people, these assertive nationalists, they emerged into the scene, right? And they became more dominant in the politics of Congress, right? And they are so since 1905 also we can say, but you can say formally the Congress got split in 1907 at Surat in Gujarat. Okay, so that is count as the actual date. So don't get confused. If it is given 1905, then that's also right. Okay, but you should know that the period is divided into three phases: the early nationalist, the assertive phase, and the Gandhian phase. So, in this chapter, we are going to study about the first phase of Indian national movement, the phase which was dominated by the moderate leaders. Moderate leaders like, who were the leaders? W.C. Banerjee, Jomesh Chandra Banerjee, who was the first president of Indian National Congress, okay, the first president of INC, Indian National Congress, right? And afterwards, Dada Bhai Naroji, the second president, and then Gopal Kishan Gokhale, Firoz Shah Mehta, these people were the some of the main leaders of this phase. Now, actually, when this organization, Indian National Congress, was established, was founded, right? Then who were its members, or who were the people who took active part after the formation of the Indian National Congress, right? From which background of the society they belonged? So they were educated middle class people. Okay, they were educated middle class people, not the lower class, not the higher class. Some of the higher classes people were also there in starting. Okay, then these were lawyers, barristers, teachers, and other officials, right? They drew their inspiration from Western liberal and radical thoughts. So, in Western world, in Europe, some liberal thoughts, right, and some revolutionary thoughts were also taking birth, right? Radical thoughts. Radical thoughts. What is the meaning of radical? Radical means something which is which brings some changes, okay, or which want some good changes, okay, in society and in politics. So, like here, we have called them radicals. So these were the people, those who wanted significant changes in the politics as well as in the economy and society. Okay, so these are called radicals. They wanted a change. Okay, so likewise, Western world was also wanting a change. Okay, there were no principles such as equality, such as liberty, such as fraternity. These things were not there. But uh, after French Revolution in 1789, these things were being incorporated by various countries, by various areas of the Europe. Okay, so here these ideas were taking birth in Europe. These are the Western ideas. Okay, these were liberal in nature. These were advocating freedom to Indian, not Indian, freedom to European people, or freedom to the people, right? How these were liberal in nature? These were liberal in nature because they insisted on the liberalism, insisted on the independence and the liberty of humankind. They insisted on the rights of humankind. They insisted on what? On the equality, on fraternity. Okay, so these things were there. And then, so these radical thoughts, these liberal ideas influenced these educated middle class section of India. So they also wanted these things to be brought in India. Although they were not aggressive in nature, they were not asserting. They had a deep faith in British. They had a faith. They had a belief that the British may be proved very much helpful in changing the Indian society as well as Indian polity, right? Getting or not? So they were not aggressive in their demands. Their demands were very much moderate. Now, after that, what was the objective of these people? The objective of these people was uh, proper and legitimate share in the government. So we know that the Britishers were ruling, right, and Indians had no say in the government of Britain, okay, or in the government of British government in India, right? So these people, moderate leaders, they wanted proper and legitimate share in the government. They said, okay, you Britishers are ruling India, that's fine, but we also want our share, our proper and legitimate share. Okay, you should also allow us to rule. Okay, you remain be here and give us some share also, right, to rule. Then for that what they were doing, for that they were demanding for constitutional and other reforms. Okay, there was constitution of according to which the India was being ruled by the Britishers. So they were demanding to bring some constitutional and other reforms which could give more share to Indians in Indian politics, to increase seats in some legislative assemblies, right, in councils, in municipalities, right, and to appoint more Indians in IAS, in ICS. Okay, at the time it was called ICS, in civil services, right. So these were their objectives. Means Indian National Congress became a platform where Indians were putting their grievances, and Indian National Congress was taking moderate steps to provide them the solutions, okay, by giving petitions and by doing prayers, okay, to the Britishers, and they were demanding to bring constitutional reforms. Okay, then what were the beliefs of the, okay, these were the things. Now the next heading in your book is beliefs. What were the beliefs of these moderates? Okay, what they used to believe, what they used to believe about Britishers, about national movement, about Indian society, about Indian economy, what kind of beliefs they were having. Okay, so the first belief which they had was they had faith in British fair play and sense of justice, in British sense of justice and fair play. They, British and European countries were going towards democracy, or towards you can say some rights to the people, right? So these people were considered more just. Okay, according to the these early nationalists used to had a belief that the Britishers have having sense of justice, they can provide, they can deliver justice better than the Indians. Okay, and they do fair play also, which was actually a wrong notion, a wrong belief. Okay, then second thing, Britishers would grant them home rule. Okay, these moderate leaders or early nationalist phase leaders, Firoz Shah Mehta, W.C. Banerjee, or Dada Bhai Nauroji, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, these people believe that okay, gradually these Britishers will give us home rule. Okay, they will be the rule of Indians, right? Getting, then after that they were having a belief that the Britishers will help Indians to establish Western standard government. Okay, not Indian standard, right? Western standard means the government which is based on rationality, on scientific attitude, and some rights to the people. Whereas the Indian standards were more religious, okay, and right, so they wanted that they had a belief that Britishers would help them establish the government on the Western lines or Western standards. Now they were also having a belief that okay, the actual hindrance or obstacle in the progress of India was not Britishers, but it was the social and economic evils of the Indian society. Okay, social and economical evils of Indian society. It's a social and economic backwardness, right? Indian people were considered backward socially also, economically also, right? they were having so many evils like Sati Pratha or widow's immolation was there. Okay, it was a very cruel practice in which a widow was forced to, a widow was burned alive along with the death body of her husband. Okay, so in a country or in a world where such type of practices are prevalent, right? So we can say that okay, we were actually not the socially advanced people, we were backward people. Okay, now passions reconciliation, now they were having a belief, they were more passions about their demands, and they used to reconciliate also. Reconciliation means when you have a very heated debate, aggressive debates, when you fight with someone and after that you restore your friendship. Okay, that is called reconciliation, when you resolve something, right? So that was there. So we have studied about the first phase of Indian national movement. In this we we have understood that what was the early phase, what was the assertive phase, and we went through the Gandhian era. We have already discussed these points, okay, about the moderates, about their leaders, about their objective, and about their beliefs. So that's all for this class. Thank you so much.